Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to share a word of encouragement, what it means to walk by faith, and learn the different types of faith. I just want to speak about a few types of faith today. I hope this helps you guys to understand where you are in your walk with God and where you are in your faith. Now, when I say there are different types of faith, I want to talk about the different levels and the kinds of faith and understanding that we need to have and that we need to know or learn how to operate in each level and which type of faith we need for whatever situation that we are faced with. I don't want to make this video too long, so I will share about 4 types of faith and maybe have a part 2 of this at a later stage. Now, the types of faith I want to talk about today is number 1, baby faith. Number 2, mustard seed. Number 3, stubborn faith. Number 4, knowing faith. Now, the baby faith, the first one, this is the kind of faith that builds your relationship with God. You rely on God so much because you trust that He will catch you no matter what. You trust Him because you know Him as God. You trust not only in the power that He has, but who He is as well. So I just want to use an example to show you the kind of faith I'm talking about. Have you ever seen how a child, when they play with their father, I'm going to use a father in this example, and the father keeps throwing them up to the sky, and they laugh and giggle and are happy because they know dad will catch me. They don't have doubts in their mind because dad has done this so many times and he still catches me. To them, it doesn't matter how they are caught, but they know and fully trust that he's going to get it done. The kind of faith that if they are playing with other kids and and they get scared, or the thrill excites them to a point they just run to the father because they know that they find refuge in them. Or when they fall while playing outside and they cry, they go back to the father to take care of them by either cleaning the wound or hugging them and giving them reassurance that they will be fine, or that they are taken care of, they are loved. There's no doubt found in this faith, none at all, because the kids understand the heart of the father. They understand what role in their father's heart they have. They understand how protective their dad is and know that their father won't let no harm come near them. They fully trust with no reservations. This is the kind that Abraham had, the kind that doesn't waver, the kind that earned him the position of being known as the father of faith, because he never wavered, always trusted, and always believed in God and who he was, who he is, not who he was, because he still is God. He believed in him and always went back to the Father with everything he had and for everything that he needed. That is why Jesus was saying to his disciples when they were asking who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And Jesus pulled out a little child and said, the greatest is one like a little child. The second type of faith I want to talk about is the stubborn faith. This is the kind of faith that doesn't move until you get something. It is a relentless kind of faith, the kind that demands results because you know the power of um, your God. This is the kind of Jacob faith, who said, I will not let you go until you bless me. So he wrestled with him till daybreak until he received his blessing. This is the kind of faith that the persistent widow who kept going to the judge, requesting justice against her adversaries until the judge gave her what she wanted. This is in Luke 18. I'm going to put all the scriptures all down below for your reference. And then my favorite one, though, is the one found in Mark chapter 7, verse 24. This woman is Greek, and her daughter was possessed, and she came to Jesus and she was begging Jesus to help her, and she wouldn't let Jesus go. And Jesus was like, I can't give the children's bread to dogs. And she's like, that is true, but even dogs eat the children's crumbs under the table. She's basically saying, I know you're capable of doing anything, and I know your power. I'm not asking you to go out of your way to assist me. I'm just asking you to allow me to be in the same atmosphere, be in the same presence, in the same place, so that whatever you're doing, however you are blessing your children, I will take what is left over. I can be able to receive whatever is left over because she understands that Jesus' leftovers are a blessing too. Jesus' leftovers bring healing, they are feeling and bring restoration. Number 3, I want to speak about mustard seed faith. This is the commanding type of faith, because a mustard seed is a very, very small seed. It's actually the smallest seed there is. But when you plant that mustard seed, it produces a great tree. And the reason Jesus was saying that if you had faith of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be thrown to the sea or the ocean, then it's going to obey you. The reason is this kind of faith requires you to know what position you hold. It requires you to be at a certain position, meaning you are operating from a point of authority or leadership. An example of that is when Jesus was talking about the faith of the centurion. This is found in Matthew chapter 8. I just want to read that for you guys. Verse 5 says, when Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. Lord, he said, my servant lies at home paralyzed and terrible suffering. Excuse me. Jesus said to him, I will go and heal him. The centurion replied, Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he was astonished and said to those following him, I tell you the truth, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith. He refers to it as great faith because there is no much work required for it. The authority, the power of authority that you have allows you to send people. Just like if you are a manager at your work, you automatically are given authority over junior employees, meaning whatever task they are doing that they have to do, you already have the knowledge of how that job works and how the results are achieved with whatever task that is given to them. This means you can tell your staff what to do, when to do it, and get the desired results at that specified time. So it is about operating from a point of authority, the authority that you are given. So the centurion had this kind of faith because he was a commanding officer, which is why Jesus called it great faith. Mustard seed grows into a great tree, and this is why Jesus was actually angry with his disciples, who had been walking with him and saw the great works that he did and were taught about faith, and they were appointed to preach and given authority to drive out demons and all of that, but still woke him up when the storm was raging. He got angry and asked them, "Where is your faith?" Even though the act of waking Jesus up was an act of faith from their point of view, because they trusted God, they trusted Jesus, they know Jesus and the power that he possesses. However, they didn't apply the kind of faith that was needed for the specific problem they were facing. They were not applying the tools given to them. They had been given authority and still afraid. So, example, in this case, if you are in a boxing match and your opponent is coming in raging war, are you going to run to your coach? I mean, you are both in the ring, you are wearing gloves, and you wouldn't be in the ring if you were no match for them. You don't run to the coach, you knock them out, because you have been training for this moment, and this is what Jesus was trying to teach them at that moment. And then the final faith that I want to talk about is the knowing faith. This is the brave kind of faith. This is the risky kind of faith. The Peter walking on water kind of faith. The stepping out of your boat kind of faith. Peter said to Jesus, "If it is you, tell me to come." Because Peter knows Jesus. He knows him. When you know someone, it doesn't matter what people say about that person. You won't listen to naysayers because you know that person. This is the kind of faith that the woman with the issue of blood had. The kind of faith that even though you are an outcast and not allowed to mix with people because of your stench, you risk getting ridiculed, you risk getting beaten up, you risk it all. You lay it on the line because you know that even his garment has the power. If his spit will make the blind see, so definitely his garment carries the same power. So you reach out because your issue of blood won't be restricted by boundaries. So you grab the garment and you receive instant healing. Because this kind of faith does not put God in a box. This kind of faith has no limits in him. This kind of faith looks at God as a limitless kind of God, and you reach out to him because you not only know his power, but you know who he is. You know that he is able to do anything, and you know that anything and everything is possible with God. In Matthew 7 verse 7, it says, "Ask, seek, knock, and it will be given to you." If you really believe, ask. You have a right to ask. You must seek the Lord continuously and keep knocking and see if your Father in heaven won't do it for you. Faith without works is dead. So continue to ask, continue to seek, continue to knock. He is our Father and he will answer you. Work your faith out and walk it out. Until next time, to God be the glory.